Yeah.
And I had a chat with a couple of our BDMs, right? We have a very good BDMs who understands like how we work, how our client base work.
Yeah.
And like when I was speaking with them recently, they were like, okay, with the APRA coming in with these restrictions with the banks,
Yeah.
so they are expecting flow in their channel.
Yeah.
So they have started to hire more credit people so that they can facilitate all these loans that coming on their way.
Yeah.
But some of these like non-bank lenders, their service is pretty good.
Yeah.
They have started to do like desktop valuations nowadays, which was not
I
the
think
case
the big
before.
four banks, like
The interest rate is not that bad, but the servicing is better than the first year lenders because first year lenders has 3% buffer rate.
Yeah.
These lenders have 2%, 1%, 1.5%. For purchases, some of them even have 1% buffer rate.
Yeah, wow.
The interest rate is relatively higher than first year, but then again, you can get a bit of an extra funds over there to meet your goals and objective of what kind of properties you want to acquire. So they are very solution based.
I'm desensitized to what interest rates are. Like, what is an average interest rate today on like say if you went to a big four bank or whatever?
So for investment loans, we are getting somewhere around 5.8, 5.9 interest only.
Yeah.
That's sub 80%.
Yeah.
We usually do sub 80%.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And what would one of these second tiers or non-bank lenders charge?
Somewhere around 6.29% interest only.
It's like 50 basis points. So you get shit.
Some of them are a bit relatively higher than that.
Yeah.
But then again, that's a solution, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If you're in the acquisition phase of the properties, if you're building up your property portfolio, and also it depends upon the risk appetite you have. If that is what you want to do, you want to acquire too many assets, and you have a risk appetite to do it, then that could be a solution you're looking for.
Let's just run the numbers, right? If we got 200 grand loan, say an average loan, 200 grand, 200 grand loan at 0.5%, that'd be $1,000 a year, $20 a week. People go, oh, I don't want to get it. Well, you're paying extra $20 a week. Put the rent up $20 and the tenant's paying for it. It's like, yeah. I'm actually scared, Wade. I'm scared because we're at a point where our investors, right, like there's challenges that people never realize. Yeah, like you said, people were holding off to see what happens with the interest rates because they want to see if the interest rate went up. Well, the interest rate went up, and so did their house, right? Yeah. But then they said, I want to come back and buy again. And then their servicing went down, and they couldn't buy or they couldn't get their equity up because it was trapped. So I guess everyone got to see what happened when the interest rates went up. Yeah. We get to see what happens when the interest rates go down. But I'm scared for the fact that all the people that we've bought for, they've all made all this money as the interest rates have gone through the roof. Yeah. Imagine what's going to happen when the rates drop. We're seeing it. Yeah.
Like as a business, our business hasn't slowed down.
Yeah.
With interest rate rises.
Yeah.
We've done, just as much business as we did when the interest rates are lower.
Probably done more.
More. Yeah. So, people hesitate and miss out on the opportunity.
Yeah.
I say, look, grab the assets while you can.
Yeah.
On what you can afford and and just ride the waves. So
I feel every time I see a deal, I'm like, do you know those promo things that they put on the radio where you get the cash cube and they put the cash in, you got to grab as much cash? That's everyone should be with the assets. Like, let's get as much as we can. Scoop it up with our shirt, right? Yeah. So I guess on that note, like what do you feel defines, like, we've got investors all different, shapes and sizes. Like, someone will come in and they'll surprise us in one way and the other way. I went to get a job in real estate, and every day they'd do Ginelli Watkins and how to approach people, even down to like when you shake the hand. And this shit's etched in my head to this day. Like, they did training on how to understand the body language of the person, right? Okay. So when it's like, don't trust the buyer, don't trust the agent, the buyer or the seller, specifically the seller, is mainly targeted towards the seller, because the buyer is just a shitty byproduct of the system, right? The buyers will come. You just need to get the listing and then the buyer will come. So that it's not necessarily the buyer, but it's like the tactics of when you meet a seller, right? You could be sitting at the office today and you got nothing on, but the agent's like, no. You don't go and give your pre-listing kit to the person. You get your colleague to go send the pre-listing kit to the vendor, prospective vendor, and say, Anuj is so busy today, he's back-to-back meetings, he's the best agent, he's borrowed credibility, like that sort of game shit that they play. Like, you seen that? Yeah. It's like buyer's agent neurolinguistic programming, like fucking. There's no handbook, but there's trainers that specifically go for NLP for real estate agents, and I'd seen it, and they would critique how you sit and how you shake the hand and how you do that. I'm like, fuck, man, I hated it. Like, I was in real estate. I absolutely hated my experience of being real estate. I was in real estate for a couple of years, and it was like the shittiest job. That's what motivated me to want to be able to retire, because I was like, I can't do this for 40 years of my life, and I don't know what to do other than being a real estate agent. So, it was just interesting to see, because some offices, like I've seen it out there a lot, they do this training, which is like just how to, position yourself to, it's just
play the game.
Right? So it's a big minefield out there. And I think the importance of what we do as a buyer's agent is most people are running to their real estate agent. And it's a big concept to get over, because people are like, I've got to pay you for a fee to do a deal. But, you said someone paid 120 grand more that they didn't have to pay, that you saw. That person got ripped 120. Yeah. Where if they had a buyer's agent work on their behalf, there's a good chance, if that person's good as a negotiator, when you're employing a buyer's agent, you're paying a buyer's agent to be a professional negotiator, to come in and represent you, to make sure. I feel like buyers run into the hands of the abuser, right? You're running over to the real estate agent. Oh, Mr. Real Estate. I've got a budget, but I'm not going to. You're not trained. You're getting slaughtered when dealing with it. There's a way of speaking and a way of conditioning and the way of making sure that agent gets the best result for you. And that's, I guess, where we come in. So what things can people do to protect themselves and minimize that mistake?
I feel like a lot of it comes down to they think emotionally.
Yeah.
Like they get too attached to their house during the campaign.
Yeah.
If they come to the property like 2-3 times over the open homes, they like it. They can vision themselves like in the property. They get excited, and they end up overpaying.
The agent will be like, imagine your kids playing on the trampoline. Which bedroom's yours?
They like, the agents know you're thinking from that perspective.
Yeah.
So you end up overpaying. So kind of shifting that mindset from emotional and kind of just turning into a logical factor.
Yeah.
And start looking at like comparable sales, recent market trends, and thinking it from that perspective, even if it's your primary residence.
Yeah.
Just thinking from that perspective, and then going to the property.
Yeah.
And having like a strategy where the price you're going to pay is in market value, not above. So
it's a good one. Funny to that, actually, for the last 3 principal place of residence plus my holiday house, I never stepped into the property. I negotiated the deal before I went to the property. I negotiated the price, because I remember once I bought a motel back in 2013. I had a mate with me. I used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day, the unhealthy Birchy. And I bought this thing for 1.6 mil, and I was out there, and it was like 40 units. I was smoke, I'm looking and going, fuck, this is a mad thing. I would have paid 2.4 for this. And my mate, who was a bank manager, said, yeah, Birchy, it's a great deal. And I said to him, did you hear what I just said? And he's like, yeah, you paid 2.4, you paid 1.6. I'm like, yeah. And it was at that point where I was like, hang on a second, because I saw the thing, my emotions flowed through, right? Even me, right, buying tens of thousands of properties, I realized in 2013, I'm never going to walk into a property again until I bought it, because when I saw it, I worked my numbers on all the due diligence, all the worst case scenarios.
Yeah.
What happens if termites here? What happens if? I was pleasantly surprised, but I based it on my worst case scenario to get that deal, which just
100%. It's hard.
Yeah,
it is hard, especially as a primary residence.
Yeah.
But you have to just kind of turn those emotions off to some extent, So
yeah, and so the emotions what gets people to
overpay.
Yeah, just overpay,
especially in auctions.
Yeah.
If you're looking to purchase a property in auction, having an auction strategy, not discussing it with the agent, because a lot of agents love to have the auction strategy kind of given to them. don't tell the agent your auction strategy, please. Right.
So with $200,000, so your exposure to the market goes from $200,000 to about $600,000.
Yeah.
In less than 2 months.
So let's just break that back down and unpack that. So if someone had 200 grand in their super and they're getting 5% return on that, they'll be getting 10 grand a year. But if they were to go and use that with a bit of leverage and go buy 600 grand worth of property and they only got 5% return on that, everyone loves my deals because they get a lot more than that. But let's just say they get 5% return on that, you're now getting 30 grand a year because you're getting the 5% on the 600 grand. People say, well, what about the debt component of it? Well, you've got the cash flow from the rent that's servicing the debt.
Absolutely.
Anyway. And
so the thing is, you get the cash flow from the debt, and knowing your properties, they'll be positively geared soon enough. Right?
Yeah.
So then your super guarantee payments that your employer pays, that cash component, we'll invest that part, grow that aggressively for you.
Yeah.
So another 12, 18 months, you're buying another property.
Yeah.
You're literally using the initial blueprint and just repeating it again and again and again.
Yeah.
So if you did that every year for 20 years before you retire, from let's say 40 to 65, you could amass anywhere between 10 to 20 properties before you retire.
Yeah.
And it's all under self-managed super fund.
Yeah.
I've got a very interesting story. I've got a client.
Yeah.
And this client is very smart by any standards because surgeons are naturally smart.
Yeah.
Right? But he didn't realize he had to put these properties under self-managed super fund.
Yeah.
Now he is 70.
Okay.
He's paying tax. Imagine that. He saved lives. He literally saved lives.
Yeah.
But the government says, well, you've made too much money.
Yeah.
You didn't structure it correctly.
Yeah.
So that rental income that you're getting, that $250,000 a year, we're going to tax it even though you're in your 70s.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I was stuck. The lenders were just looking at me on the loans. Things changed. So we had to get rid of the ones we tied up with the family and my mate.
Yeah.
Sold all those.
Yeah.
Had Southport and Alicia had Mount Druitt.
Yeah.
Those two.
Yeah.
And then we kicked it off with yourself.
Yeah.
To get started. Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome.
And then we had a unit in Schofields that we were going to move into.
Yes. There was one that was like a new one that was like
correct. Yeah. So we bought that off the plan and we were going to move into that. We don't have that anymore because it just wasn't serving a purpose. But that's kind of where we were starting at.
Cool. And how many properties we bought in the last 2 years?
So we're at, we sold Schofields. So we're currently at 16, plus we got a deposit on a commercial. So if we include that, then it's 17 properties.
What's that?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
2 years.
Well, we had a goal to get 20 in 3 years, so we're on track. To bang that out.
Once we settle the ones that we've got in the pipeline at the moment, we'll come back, pull equity. Well, with the interest rates coming down, that's exciting news and that as well. So we should be able to smash it out. How good's that, eh?
Yeah.
How good's that? A lot of people, just so I know, just a little side step, right, on that interest rates, like a lot of people don't realise. So let's say, I'm just pulling our numbers, right? I don't even know what your debt is off the top of my head and you don't need to share it. But like a lot of investors I see, if they've got like 10 or 15 properties, they're at like 3 million. That's a good number of debt people get, right? 3 mil worth of debt. If interest rates come down by 1%, that's 30 grand a year, they're better off. Right?
Yeah.
If they come down by 3%, people think it's impossible for it to come to 3%. But every time that rates have dropped, they've dropped at levels of 3%. They don't just go 25 basis points, everyone have a great day and move on with it and let's go up again. So if it comes down by 3% on 3 mil, there's 90 grand a year that one could have as extra income. If there's neutral cash flow today, it becomes positive. So I'm really excited with your journey because interest rates going down, like a lot of people don't realise the impact that that'll have on the market. A lot of people like yourself that are sitting there like, if I can buy another 10, I'll go buy another 10.
Yeah.
And that means that, stock depletes, prices rise, more people come in the market, your net worth's going to go up. You're going to get there a lot quicker as well. So.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. I play on I've got a little sheet with the interest rates and I take away a couple of percent. Look at the number. I'm like, wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
Over 250,000. So you end up having to pay a little bit more tax based on your income for that year. Yeah. Because you've gone over 250,000, the government puts their hand and takes a little bit more because you've got a little bit of super.
What that means?
So Division 293 tax is essentially a tax for the high income earners, regardless of where that income comes from. So if you're on a salary more than 250, you'd be very used to paying 293. So it's effectively another 15% on your superannuation contributions. They tax a certain part.
Anything. over, like, so on from the first dollar in the super contribution?
On your super contributions, yeah, correct.
Even if it's the first 25?
Yeah, they just end up taxing you more. So it's about, end up taxing you on the top rate about $4,500-$5,000, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a painful tax that you can get. And if you have a capital gains event and that pushes you up over the 250 mark.
For some strange reason, I'm always earning less than 100. No?
That's actually not true. So,
Not in cheek though, it's not in cheek.
All these little bits and pieces that you have to consider, which your accountant can certainly get you across, are things you need to consider, because you might sell and say, hey, I've got to pay back my loan, I've got to pay back the tax, I've got to pay Division 293. And at the end of the day, you're not really left with a huge amount of capital to be able to get you to that next phase, get you out of a jam, or whatever reason that you've actually come to the conclusion that you need to sell. You just have to think about what I call T+1. T being transaction day or the date of exchange. What happens the next day, right? Yeah. And a lot of the time we speak to clients and we don't say to them, good, bad, buy or sell. It's not our position. But what will you be doing after?
Yeah.
And some clients, and it's okay, say, look, I just want out because I don't want the pressure. I don't want this type of, constraint on my lifestyle, and that's totally fine, right? But some clients are like, well, I'll think about it when I get there, and I think that's a problem, right? So tax is definitely a consideration that you'd consider. So again, capital gains tax, Division 293, you might have things that you haven't paid along the way. Land tax, you might have to, if you haven't paid that because you've had cash flow constraints, you might have to settle that bill as well. So there are a few things that occur. One big thing that clients don't often realize is that you might get put on a PAYG system. So after you pay a tax bill, which is big, they then say, hey, we think you're going to pay it again. And they then cut that bill up into 4. And so the first quarter out of paying the tax bill, you might get another bill and you're like, hey, what's this about? You need to come to us. We get that removed. But all these little key considerations as to what happens.
When we did meet her, by the way, it's end of 2024 now.
Yeah.
When we're recording this.
Yeah.
She came on board in 2021.
Yeah. So 3 years.
Yep.
Yeah. She came to us like one or two.
Yeah. Another gentleman, he's done 25 properties in the last 6 months.
25 in 6 months.
He's restructuring everything from a financial point of view.
Yeah.
He's about to buy a huge block of units.
Yeah.
But yeah, his restructure is going to enable him to probably do another 50 over the next 12 months.
That's pretty. And when did he buy his first one?
Yeah, it would have been 7 or 8 months ago.
Within a year, right?
Yeah.
Because people come from nowhere, you know? So, but people think, oh, you need to have $1 million to get there. You've got to have money to make money. I guess it's like, it's all about luck. Just ask any loser, right? It's like people out there, have these self-limiting beliefs of why they can't do it, or, why it's not them, and excuses. But it's only a few. Like when you really break it down, we've got 25, 26 million. How many people have immigrated this week, wherever the number lands, it's 25, 26, 27 million people in this country. And for 172 to have 20 or more in their portfolio, like there's success that leaves clues and scraps along the way to be like, okay, what do those people do that's different than me, and how can I be those people? And
it's definitely, there is certainly what I've found as a common trait is that there is that difference of perspective in terms of what's required to actually, own that many assets or properties as well. Like the reality is some people get a little bit freaked out or nervous or overwhelmed maybe if they own 2 or 3 properties.
Yeah.
Or there are some people that have no properties but could do a lot and they do nothing because they get overwhelmed with maybe the insignificant detail. But those who have, 20 or more, there certainly is a common thread with their approach and their perspective of they need to build the asset base. If they don't do it now, when? And if it's later, then it's just going to be more expensive. So, bugger it, let's do it now.
They understand how money works. That's a part of the system. Right? If you need to know how you're going to win a war, right, or win a battle, or win a game or whatever, you need strategy. You need to go, okay, well, what does my component have? What's my enemy got? What's the system? So understanding how the currency, how the system works, understanding how inflation works, understanding where you're starting from, and then I guess having a goal. Like people call them goals. I look at it as a business plan. It's a business plan for your life. People are planning more for their next holiday, or late night shopping, or party on the weekend, or Christmas, or whatever, than what they are thinking, I'm fucking trapped in a 40-year cycle of never-ending feedback loop of eating shit and having to go back to work and, you know, pay taxes and fit into the system, then what they're thinking of, how the fuck can I get out of that prison that we're born into? 18 years old buying the first one, right? But, you know, your story, like, you've got all this adversity that's coming your way, and there's probably people watching this going, oh, I can never do it. It's too hard. You know, I'm a single mum. I can't afford it. I'm only in retail, whatever. Like, what would be some things that you've learned that you could share, that, because you should be very proud of you. That's why I was like, Jane, I'm really excited to talk about you today. And you're like, oh, not really, right? Like, is there something
I'm no one special. Like, I'm just very stubborn.
Yeah.
I don't give up.
Yeah.
I don't give up. And I'm very much a person, with every cloud is a silver lining.
Yeah.
And the bigger the adversity, the bigger the gift.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I look for the gift. And quite often I've said to my children a number of times, you know, when life gets interesting, you know, I turn to the children, I say, look, all right, kids, we've just been given lemons. Yeah. Let's see how sweet this lemonade's going to be, eh?
Yeah.
Let's see what we're going to do with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the way things have turned around in some instances, like, it's actually surprised my children to the point they turn around and they say, wow, I wasn't expecting that to happen like that.
Yeah. How do you feel, like, so your children, like, roughly what sort of age children are we talking about? Just
okay, so my children are adults now.
Yeah. When you first came to me, they were teenagers still? Like,
well, I've only been with you like 4 years. So
yeah, how old are they now?
They were in their 20s.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so they were in their 20s.
Yeah. How do you feel that they, like your children will feed from you, right? Like, they'll, like, you're in a bad time, they'll see, you know, the stages that you go through life with them. How do you think the impact, you know, like, you got 20-year-olds, there's 20-year-olds watching this saying, I can't get started. There's people with 20-year-olds going, I don't know how the fuck I can help them out. Your role in your children's life, is there things that they're picking up now and going, I want to be like mum? Like,
I don't know if they want to be like me per se, but I do see the fighting spirit in them. Okay, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't give in. They don't, like, something happens. It's like, well, actually, when I told them I got scammed 200, I thought they were going to get angry with me. Yeah. Like, I was really nervous to let them know, and they just started laughing.
Okay.
They started laughing. I said, why are you laughing? He goes, oh, well, what else is new, Mum? This is, you know, this is just what happens to our family. We just move on from here now.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, I thought, okay. I was expecting it to be a lot worse than that. You know what I mean? I was expecting them to, you know, to really come down on me, and they didn't. They really didn't, you know. Yeah. But
they delivered you what you needed at the time, I guess.
I guess. But they are, they've become extraordinary human beings. Like, they go through adversities and they face things head on. They don't hide, they don't shrink, they don't run away. It's like, okay, what are we going to do from here?
Solid. Yeah. That's what we need, the good team. Like, your accountant, I don't know your accountant at all, right? I don't know, like, like, I've never met him. I've got no affiliation. It's not a part of my clients or anything like that. But, like, I see accountants just in general, right? This is a feedback, random. Like, accountants are like, clients will come to me. I got one yesterday who's got the shits because he came on last year and couldn't do anything. And his accountants put him down as like 40 grand a year, right? And it's like the accountant's vision, like, he's trying to save tax, right? Yeah. The accountant didn't go, okay, what's your goals? Oh, your goals, you need to do this. Okay, well, we'll make sure your tax return is in a certain way. And, like, a lot of accountants will just be like, let's try and save tax. That's what my client wants. They just assume you want to save tax. It's like, no, on the tax, but also want you to understand what my goal is and, you know, be able to support that. And yeah, like, you go to the guy in the shopping centre at the end of the escalator, $49 tax refunds, right? You're just going to get, like, fucking a crappy, you know, you're in business, you need to do all your paperwork, and having those right people is very, very crucial. So,
it is.
Yeah.
It's funny you say this thing about the accountant, because my accountant's like, you're probably the only client that's, like, not looking for the deductions. Like, I'm like, I want to make sure my income's, like, I'm honest, you know, like, I don't just add in all this random stuff to get a lower tax.
Yeah.
It's like, people
are trying to, like,
always like, oh, claim this, claim that. He's like, you're the only client that just wants to pay as much tax as he can.
See?
But, like, playing the long game, so.
And on that point is very important, right? Like, you want to pay as much tax, like, because the tax, like, isn't like cutting tax. Like, you got depreciation schedules, you got ways that you'll be able to save tax along the way in your journey, but your goal is to build out the wealth, right? And it's not saving, $5,000 in a year to go, okay, I'll just squeeze that extra little bit of tax return out, which is
it's not worth it.
Yeah,
it's like save 10 grand, 20 grand, whatever in your tax.
Yeah,
but then also lose the ability to go buy 4 more properties.
Exactly.
It's like, I think you're going to make a lot more than 20 grand in those 4 properties.
The cost of sitting at the table.
Just the rent on one of the properties is 20 grand for the year.
Correct.
So it's like, yeah.
I really rate that.
I don't want to pay the tax, but
exactly. I hate paying tax, right? It's like,
the bank sees it different. It's like it's like the more you pay, the more you can service.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. And like down to the property manager, right? Like the rents. And just think about it this way: like, if I was just look at the whole portfolio, if you've increased all the rents by $50 a week, and you got 17 properties, and it's $850 a week in extra rent, and you said that you've doubled some rents and all that. So I'm just using that as an example, right? If your property manager didn't push the rent up by the $50, you wouldn't be getting $850 a week. You wouldn't be getting $40,000 a year in extra income. That $40,000 a year would hurt your servicing once again.
Yeah.
So everyone sort of coming together collectively, and
it's the whole team.
Yeah. Different clients and whatnot. Saying about CommBank not allowing you to do trust lending now, is that what happened there? What happened with Macquarie? Can you give everyone a bit of a rundown? And
so what happened with Macquarie is like they used to have this policy with trust where if you can set up one trust, buy one property in there, and then set up next trust number 2, trust number 3, trust number 4, and have one property or up to 4 property investment properties within that trust. And then if it's self-sustainable, then they would kind of isolate it every time they do servicing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people, I think, started to abuse the policy.
Yeah.
They found a loophole in there, and they started to do like maybe marketing through social media. And
every second Instagram post or buyer's agent or spruiker or expert or broker or advisor will be sitting there going, "Oh, infinite lending, speak to us today," right? I actually fear that a lot of brokers will be in trouble because their whole business is just based on that. Like they haven't got like a toolbox to go, okay, that's one option out of 50. They go, that's the only option. And I think a lot of people will be stuck, whether it be buyer's agents out there, whether it be mortgage brokers out there, going, okay, our one trick's gone. What do we do now? Interesting.
Yeah, but the thing with the trust lending is one of the reason why they had to pull out of the specific policy, and they specifically mentioned that social media influencer was one of the causes why they have to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, then again, the regulatory body and the bank has to do the right thing for the client.
Yeah, of course.
And if those properties, if anyone has purchased negatively cared and all those things, it will start to affect their finances.
I fear that there'll be a lot of people out there like, how many people would what percentage of people would be buying a trust, do you reckon, on average with Zinger?
With Zinger?
Yeah.
Very nominal, maybe 1 or 2%. It also depends upon why.
1 or 2%. As a broker, so 1 or 2%, right?
Yeah.
My fear moving forward, like we're in 2025 now doing this, my fear is that interest rates drop means a whole new flood of capital. What we haven't seen, this is a boom that's about a 2028, 2029 boom, right? And mark my words, this is the first time I've thrown it out there. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Maybe you'll be like, I remember Birchy said this back in 2025, right? This is a boom that no one's even fucking reported on yet, right? We've got a migrant explosion at the moment, right? 1,500 people a day coming through, 600,000 people a year, right? All those people are coming in great. But they can't buy shit, right? Like you coming into the student visa or whatnot, you can't go and buy it, right? You can only rent, which is putting pressure and demand on the infrastructure we've got. But in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, those people will be like, I've seen properties go up. I've seen this. The first thing they want to do is go, I want to go buy a property, right? And then all those people become of age, like they're not like, it's like they're turning 18 and illegal able to do it. They're able to do it because their visas roll over to being a permanent resident or whatnot. And then we're going to see that whole new market of people coming in and putting more pressure on that.
100%.
I've never seen anyone talk about it. I just thought of it there.
My wife came back from overseas yesterday, and just as she was about to get off the plane, a lady asked her about something. And my wife asked, like, are you visiting family or friends, or are you migrating here? They go, this is our first time to Australia. We're migrating here. We've got permanent residency. And she goes, oh, where are you going to live? Oh, we're going to Tamworth.
Right. In Western Sydney, and they're like 50 grand to like 200 grand for houses. Sydney, right? And they just be auctioning them off. The government auctioning the houses. And I'd walk up to people and I'd have always say, this is the max price. This is where we'll start at. But then if I was auctioning, like bidding on behalf of our clients, I'd sometimes see like the body language of like the wife getting hit by the husband or whatever, right? Like you can tell like they're at their max, right? And I'd just come up and look at them. If I still had the fuel in the tank and they're bidding down to like $50 or whatever, I'd walk up to them and be like, $5,000, right? I'll just like do it to blow them out of the water, and then I'll take control back of that auction. And the other thing at auctions, if you negotiate an auction, is throw weird bids. So like I'll always sit there and be like, okay, I'll give you $500 increase. And the auctioneer will say, no, I'm only taking $5,000 bids. I'm only taking $1,000 bids. Then they'll take the $500 bid. Yeah. So when they say, I'll give you $250, right? They go, no, minimum bid $500. I go, okay, cool. Minimum bid, I'll go up by $670.47. Right? And I'd literally, and they go, okay, $197,640.50, right? But then when the next person comes, they go, I'll give 500, and then I'll come in and say like, this is how fucking funny I used to be. I still am funny when I think about it, right? And I go, okay, I'll give $746.22, right? And they have to get the calculator. It stops the auction. Everyone's like, oh, fuck, what do I do now? And then you get a control of the auction. Yeah. It's like you can play little games, but the agents play the games, like, and they're trying to shake every cent they can out of you. They always see like the shows or an auction on TV or one online or something, and then you got the agent walking over and it's like, pay another 500. I think you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
You need to take control over that.
100%. So. Having a strategy is very important.
I was like, all right, I need your help. Let's scale this thing up. You know. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. I went to your gym. I wouldn't call it the studio. What do you call the gym?
Studio, gym.
Yeah. Went to the gym the other day, and I'm looking at you do things, and you pulled out some fat calipers. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, I really need to come and see the professional, right? Because I go to the gym, I try and I'm like, oh, I've lost a bit of weight from those old videos that you would have seen and whatnot, but I need to tweak it up to the next level.
Yeah, so. We'll get you in shape pretty quick. Don't worry about that. But they're humbling when we grab the hips and squeeze a little bit.
Yeah, I'm just like, don't squeeze too hard.
Well, it depends. If you've been cheating on your diet, we do, you know?
Yeah. No, it's good. But that's cool. And so your journey, so you got your business. A lot of business owners out there will work hard in the business, earn good money, just keep pushing it back into the business, but not think about, hey, one day I don't want to do this, or I'm going to be too old to do it, or whatever the case may be, and not planning for retirement because you're not forced to have a super fund in your own business. So a lot of people just go, oh, don't worry about super, just buy a house or do something, and they make good active income but not passive income, and you've made that connection. Hey, I need to get passive income and build up income stream. So
I think that was where, especially with like my mum and dad they bought a couple of properties. It worked out for them, and I saw the power of what that allowed to them to do with their lifestyle, from getting their own house and things like that. And then I just wanted to scale that more. But yeah, you're absolutely right. For me, the business is kind of a vehicle with the income it gets to help support, the wealth creation that I'm trying to make for my family.
I'm currently buying the fifth property.
Yeah. So when did you restart your journey?
October.
So it's been like less than
October last year. Yeah.
So like 9 months or so.
Yeah.
So 5 properties, 9 months.
So it'll be a fourth purchase, discounting the super one. So
okay, it's fourth. Okay, okay, cool. So 4 purchases in 9 months.
Yeah.
With the first one, how much did you pay for that?
180.
Yeah. And what capital did you have to put down for that?
Really, we only had like 20 grand.
Yeah.
We raided the kids' Vanguard accounts. Okay. Yeah. To be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
Because our daughter, she just finished high school, so we didn't have any school fees left to pay. Yeah. So we knew our servicing was good. We just didn't have the capital to start. Yeah. And this deal came along, which was a banger.
Yeah.
And we thought there's definitely equity in this property.
Yeah.
Kids, give us some money.
Yeah, there we go.
And, we settled on that one on the 11th of December, 180 grand.
Yeah.
Rents for $550 a week.
Yeah.
And then a week later, we refinanced.
What do you regal for?
480.
480. So 180 to 480. So
180 to 480.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've had a mutual client who actually had a fantastic portfolio. And you bought it in quite a short period of time.
Yeah, like 20 properties. There's a couple of them. There's like,
it wasn't that many. It was like 8 or 9 really solid properties, really good purchase price.
maybe
and then,
a different person I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it's a slightly different person. And then I think the properties became a little bit not difficult to manage, but it's paperwork and all those other different things. And he, lovely guy, he sort of said, no, I just want to simplify my life and I want to buy my own PPOR. Yeah. And that's important to me, right?
Yeah.
And then I was doing the numbers when he sold, and in my head I was like, oh my God, we don't say don't sell.
Yeah.
But I was kind of saying, hey, have you had a chat with Nathan about this? Yeah. You bought this at 150, you're selling it 2 years later at 450.
Yeah.
You made really good money. And that was like several properties like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. I just, to some extent, I felt like he didn't want to talk to you because he'd say no.
You knew that.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah, right. So, totally, right. And so, he's paid a lot of tax on the way out.
Yeah, wow.
Did it on a really short time frame. And it's got him to that PPOR. So it was successful in that regard. But I don't think he set out with that. Yeah. So always repositioning your goals, always repositioning what you want. Doesn't matter what the outcome is because it's, that person's life at the end of the day. But I think is being honest with what you set out to do.
Yeah.
And getting to that point where you go, okay, great. My position has changed. My outcomes have changed. I'm happy to own that.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be in a state of like, I'm just doing it because it's emotional. And I really felt emotional.
Yeah.
And, he actually became emotional in the meeting. And it's like, I just need out. Like, it felt like a lot for him.
Yeah.
But it could have just been maybe selling one, like the headache one.
Yeah.
Right. But you throw the baby out with the bathwater, right?
We've seen others that have like changed the strategy and they had 20 and then they sell and buy blocks of land and build. Like I've seen a lot of that over the years, and I'm like, you just missed all these greatest booms that you could have ever seen. And they're like, oh, it's only a 200 grand property. It's got into 400. It's never going to go up. I'll go buy the $1 million property, and then turns to 1.3 and they go, oh, I made 300 grand up. But that 200 grand property that turned to 400 is now at 800 or $1 million. And it's like, they didn't see the value that was underlaying that transaction. So,
and it's kind of like what we spoke on a different podcast about, which was trusting that process.
Yeah.
And also being in a position where if you don't know how you got there, keep trusting that process.
Yeah.
Because if you go, okay, hey, I've done this.
Yeah.
Or I've been at, I've run, the city to surf. Yeah. Now I can go do a full marathon.
Yeah.
There's a process to it, right? Like you can actually get there, or you go to the gym and now you think you can, go do BBT, right? Or be a VA, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the important part. So whilst we, from an accounting point of view, only deal with the tax element of it, because we see so many things, you kind of become like a confessional box. People go, yeah, look, I'm selling to do A, B, C, D. Yeah. And we give honest feedback, but we can't say don't sell or, you should sell, for example.
Hey, it'll still be all right. You can recover from where you've been, but, all those decisions that got you to that point got you ready for when we could build 80% of the portfolio in 12 months.
But I couldn't service then.
Yeah.
I couldn't service because I was in retail at the time.
Yeah.
Very low.
Yeah.
I was getting $800 a week. That was
40 grand a year.
That's what I was clearing.
Working in retail.
Yeah, working in retail. So that's, for low income.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I remember you saying I couldn't service with that.
Yeah.
And so I just basically did, you said to do, to sell this, and then from that we get two outright and go from there. And I just basically followed your instructions and went that way. So I figure, well, you're the one with the score on the board. Yeah. I'd be stupid not to listen to you.
Yeah. If you don't have the income, we've got to find it from somewhere. And
that's
you've
right.
got the capacity here because you've got some asset. It's like, okay, it's an underperforming asset, but we can turn it into something that's going to really perform for you. And building that cash flow was the first thing, and then you've got those outright ones, and the bank allowed you to go, okay, now you service, now we can play, we're at the table, and we can pull out equity. And
that's exactly what we did. That's exactly what you did. And you never bullshitted me. Like, I've been bullshitted left, right and centre, obviously, with this stuff, right? So you never bullshitted me. Like, in fact, you under-promised.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah, because you said we can get a certain amount, we went beyond it.
Okay.
And it's like, whoa, okay, that's how that works. And I remember saying, I've been wanting to get more than one investment property, but I could never get more than one.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying, it's just a matter of tweaking it a little bit. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, how are you going to tweak that?
Yeah.
I learned that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So just being with you, your team, and listening to your podcasts and things like that, you learn so much, and it actually opens up it's actually opened up my eyes with, you know, what's going on in the world, really, you know, because up until that point, you're just a tumbleweed tumbling in the wind, not knowing why things are happening the way they're happening.
Yeah.
But you've just put, you know, clarity on everything that's going on in the world, and it's like, you know what, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, but it helps when you boost the rents up as well.
Yeah.
Like, now you got a whole bunch to boost.
Out of the 7 that you just purchased, have you put any rents up yet, or are they in leases, or?
Yeah, there was a few that got put up straight away.
How far under rent do you reckon they were?
Maybe like 3 or 4 of them got put up, like maybe about $50, maybe $170, maybe $140.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. People don't
The average rent increase is probably around, I'd say, anywhere to 50 to 70.
Yeah.
Some are a bit more, some are a bit less. You get on a roll sometimes, you know, you're putting them all up and you're like, shit, this is cool. And then you get one that maybe isn't going up and you're like, oh, what's going on here?
Oh, it's a dud. Come on. Just push it harder.
So good.
So if you just think about that, like 17 properties, right? Let's say I'm just going to make up some scenarios here. Like if someone has 17 and they're neutral cash flow, just hypothetically, 17 properties and you push them up by $50 a week, that's an extra $850 a week income, right? That's like 40 grand a year just by pushing it in those parameters. And you've taken the debt, like I'm not even going to go into your specifics of your portfolio, but I'm just going to say, like, hypothetically, if someone had 2 million or 4 million, let's say $4 million in debt, someone had $4 million worth of debt, and the interest rates dropped by 1%, that's 40 grand a year you'd be saving, right? Interest rates just dropped 0.25% the other week, and the interest rate dropping 0.25%, someone, if they had 3 mil or 4, let's say 4 because it's a very square number, that'd be 10 grand a year, $200 a week better off. So when you combine, when you're building that portfolio, and you'll see this come more to fruition in the not too distant future, is that the numbers will expand from a cash flow perspective from rate drops and rent increases. Mad.
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah. Sometimes I play around with it in the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Just change the interest rate 1% or 0.5%.
Yeah, how good's that?
Watch it change.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's where we need to get
shit,
to.
That's a year of
savings or work of someone.
Like a salary, like that's a whole year's wage, like just with a little tweak.
Yeah.
Put up a few rents, drop the rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
And we'll talk about it before, and right, people catching a train every day of the week, going to a job. Like, it didn't come easy to build the portfolio. There's been sacrifices, and I'll ask you some of the things along the way that you've had to sacrifice, if you had to sacrifice or whatever shortly. But like, people have to sacrifice 40 years of their life generally to go and earn 50 grand, 60 grand, 70 grand a year. You're just in there going, oh, rent increase here, rent increase there. Hey, bank, give me a rate cut here. It's cool.
Yeah. There's definitely been sacrifices.
Yeah.
I think living below like your means, as far as like when you turn 18, you want a better car, you want all this thing, like, you might have the money to do it, but it's like, it's not the smartest decision. Even now, like, there's shit that I want to buy or do, and it's like, it's not the smartest thing. It's not going to get me to where I want to go, Yeah. It's so you put these things up.
Like Bilal said, man, we stuck in the matrix. This my advice, don't care if you take it. The dollar back to die, soon to be hyperinflated.